Good morning, everybody. It is a happy Friday. This is March 7th, 2014. It's time to take a look at the Twitter updates that they posted on the deadlinger.com website. It really wasn't anything super spectacular this week that stood out to me. Some nice things coming along. I was really hoping this week there'd be a post related to when Build 13 was coming out. But, another week. We'll see. All right, so let's go back to the tweets at the beginning of the week. So March 1st. So they did cover Richard Keene put on their zombie mobs and flocking algorithms. Now that's something they've been talking about was like their herds and coming up with a special mechanic for zombie herds. More than just a whole bunch of zombies. You'll see they actually are actually making that a thing where, well, you'll see. There's a post on it here. Then on March 1st, another one from Jeff Keene said guns feel a lot smoother and more skillful since we took out the auto reset on recoil. Not quite sure with the auto reset. I'm pretty sure that's an in-game mechanic that I'm not understanding. Something that they have in there. Auto reset to me means you fire, it has recoil, and it brings you back to kind of a neutral state where you can aim again. That's what it means to me, but I'm not quite sure what that means since we took out the auto reset. So I'll have to, I don't really have anything to compare that against, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but must be good because they say they feel a lot smoother and more skillful. So that's a good thing. Nice to have gun improvements. This one here I was interested in. Rockland rocks now can appear a lot larger than before. Which, when I looked at the picture, my first thought was, yeah, one of their, I don't know if biome is a good word, but every once in a while you'll come across a spot where there's just rocks, but they were always so small. So it was almost like a field of pebbles. But now you can see here's a picture of a bike next to the actual rocks that will appear. So at least now it will feel like rocky terrain. And that's good. When they start adding in like elements of sneaking, that might be a good way to ditch zombies. But for those who want to do some PvP, now you've got some actual cover and terrain out there. So that's nice. Other than the fact, even if you don't use it mechanically for anything, just it looks better. They look like rocks now, so that's a good thing. And then we come back up here. So another one on March 1st. So, excuse me, these patch notes are massive. But they didn't actually show patch notes. On their Reddit, somebody put together a big list of stuff that has been like pretty much gathered from the tweets of potential patch notes, and it is pretty big. I just have not seen an official patch notes list yet. And then on March 1st, Jeff Keene comes back and says, and still growing. And if you hit these hashtags here, that doesn't really take you to the Build 13 notes. That just takes you to tweets that have the hashtag Build 13 in it. So we'll have to wait till we get actual patch notes. Then on the 2nd of March, Richard Keene put out there that zombie herds. Here's a pic of members following a leader. Yellow is a leader, blue is a follower. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand back here when they mentioned the zombie mobs. They're actually making a system where it's like follow the leader. I'm guessing, you're going to have one who's like the point man of the herd. He'll pick a direction and then X amount of assigned zombies that roam with him. So instead of just having an area where you come up and you see like 100 zombies, that's great. There's 100 zombies, but yeah, that's not a herd. But now this is what they mean by an actual herd. You'll see zombies moving a direction. They might not have a specific goal in mind, but they got a leader and then attached followers to that leader. So I mean, that's kind of interesting. I would like to see that as a replacement system to zombies that randomly spawn into the world. I think this is how zombies should get to you. Now, that might be kind of, that might suck to where you clear out an area of zombies and then one day boom, you see a herd coming, but that doesn't mean the herd necessarily has to stop right where you are. If you make yourself known, then yeah, you're going to have zombies that are walking around. You have to try and lose them or kill them or decide if you want to stay depending on how many they have. But I think this is the kind of way that zombies should repopulate areas once you've cleared it. The herd. So that makes sense to see. I like it. All right. And then we pop up. There was some, let's see, when was the. See, they tease me when they don't post anything on like a Tuesday. So the 3rd, there was nothing there. And then on the 4th, they started posting again. See, every time that there's a day they don't post anything and it's around that Tuesday, Wednesday kind of time frame, I'm thinking maybe today is the day. But no. They came back then on the 4th later on. Tease of a thing that's showing up sometime. So there was, hashtag Tower of Guns, but, you go to the Instagram. I don't have a clue. I have not figured out what that is. I mean, I see like straps and like weird little spindly robotic arm things. I don't have a clue. Okay. So then we move up. Then Richard Keene on the 4th. Today, tons of sound upgrades and improvements, ambient sound, events, footsteps, music, such and such and such. Which is great, especially if you go all the way back in time. There's I think on the, if you come to the forums and you look in the Survivor Creations, there's the link to the video still of the, I think it's called like What Happened. And that gentleman who put that together did a phenomenal job of showing what ambient sounds can do for the game with like his character breathing, the footsteps, heartbeat. And I think the game actually plays better without music when you really can start to pump up those ambient sounds. That makes for an immersive game. Really enjoy it. So I'm glad they're doing music, but at the same time I also have to turn the music off when I stream because I don't want the silly YouTube copyright thing to kick in and go, oh, that's somebody's song, you can't post that video. So I mean, as silly as it is, the music part is not as important to me as all the ambient sounds that go along with walking through the dark house and your flashlight and you hear creepy sounds and maybe the wood floor creaks when you walk on it. They've got the starts of some stuff, but more ambient sounds are really going to help give that immersive experience. Let's see, we come up 16 hours ago. So yeah, these were recent posts. I started reading some of these yesterday. We've made some big changes to aiming in the Deadlinger. You can now do a lot more precise mouse movement when sniping. For example, when did I somewhere I read something about, there it is, sensitivity slider. That's a couple posts up there. Yeah, the aiming, I mean, currently the aiming isn't terrible, but, I mean, I'll take anything that says improvement. But it really felt more like instead of aiming was an issue, it's the hit registration boxes that are more concern than aiming. So it'll be, wait and see before I put too much comment into that. As it feels like I can put the crosshair on the zombie head and miss. I'm more concerned with the accuracy and aiming with the bow and crossbow, because it really feels like I can put my pointer and whatever right on a zombie head and you'll see it hit all around the head or through the head or like shoot through the face, and not register. So aiming is important, but hit registration I think is more important. So then they put a picture called the beauty of. So this was somebody who took a little picture, and we'll blow it up for the world to see. So they put their little fireplace, and I like fan art, so we'll put that up there. Let you all enjoy that for a moment. Okay. And almost near the end. So then Jeff Keane also put on there, that also means we've added a separate sensitivity slider in the game settings for aiming. Okay, so those were hand in hand. So that's fine. Like I said, aiming, I guess more so when you're aiming down sight, this would be referring to, because you don't want to have your mouse movement too messed up while you're in the regular game running around. But yeah, when you do the aim down sight, ADS, I know a lot of games have a sensitivity slider just for that when you're aiming down sight. Um, that might help depending on how your frame rate in the game works. So, again, every option they add is a good thing. I just would be more concerned with it detecting proper hits on the zombies. And then just this was the last one I read before I went to bed. So Richard Keene put Zed's attack doors better, animation improvements, and debugging. So again, not anything too super exciting for this particular week. Um, Still waiting on some kind of announcement when Build 13 is coming so we can see all these cool improvements and changes. So, just so close, so excited. It's like there's just so much coming. I think they would almost be better off doing smaller updates and just make them a little more frequent. And I don't know how that would work with their debugging and testing and making sure they don't introduce, problems. But, a lot of times when you see the big game companies, when they introduce huge patches, then that just brings in a lot of huge bugs. So mostly I'm just impatient. I'm ready for the next update. When Build 13 first comes out, there's a certain amount of time of exploring and trying out new things, and at some point you're kind of like, okay, let's get the new one. Well, we've done Build 12 for a while now, and now we're ready for the next thing. So I'm really excited for it to arrive, really excited to see all these new changes, and really excited to see that big patch list he's talking about. All right, so we will talk to all you survivors later. Have a good day.